Hello friends, my name is Vanessa Liu, and I am here to tell you about how the relevant Old Testament came to be. So about 7 years ago, when my youngest daughter was 1 year old, I was very sleep deprived and overwhelmed with everything in life. And I had been a Christian since I was 5. So I knew who Jesus was. I went to church my entire life. I was a good rule follower. But one thing I didn't do very often was read the Bible. And it's because I just couldn't really get into it. So one day, in one of my overwhelmed moments, I slid down the side of my bed and I was on the floor and I was just crying out to God and saying, I don't get this. Like, I don't get how to do this life. It doesn't make sense to me. How do I follow you and make everybody happy? Because I thought, well, if you're going to be like Jesus, then people have to like you. Because if they don't like you, then they won't listen to you. And, how can you be an effective witness if people don't even like you? Right? So I was stuck there and I didn't know what to do. And so I cried out to God, and it was the first time that I recall God speaking back to me. And he said to me, the answers are in my word. And I was like, okay. And I'm like crying at this point. I'm like, okay, I hear you. But like, I don't really get the Bible. Every time I try to read it, I'm just confused. I fall asleep. It just doesn't feel very relatable. And then he repeated himself and he was like, the answers are in my word. And I was like, okay. So then I said another prayer and I said, okay, Lord, I hear you. If the answers are in your word, then will you please help me to understand it? Because I don't understand it. I don't connect with it. I don't see the significance in it. It just seems really old and confusing. And so I'm happy to tell you that from that day forward, I started getting into the word every day. I started in Genesis, and this was 7 years ago. And sure enough, God started answering my prayer. And I started noticing things in the Bible that I had never noticed before. And I started getting answers to questions that I had had for years about stories in the Bible just by reading the text. And it wasn't even, I remember specifically, there wasn't even a part in particular that spoke directly to my question, but it was like the Spirit just answered me. And the question was, why do we need the Old Testament? We know it's all about these rules and rituals and God's wrath. And then we have Jesus and he comes in and he saves the day. And then we have a new covenant, right? So why do we need the Old Testament? So way back then, 7 years ago, God answered that question for me as I was reading the book of Genesis. And the answer was, you need the Old Testament to prove to you that you need me. And I was like, whoa, right? So I was pretty excited. And so, as I said, the Bible started coming to life. Little by little, I started noticing things and connecting with them. And I really felt like God was talking to me through his word. So fast forward 7 years, a lot has changed in my journey. And I have 2 other books that God had called me to write, inspired me to write. And the Relevant Old Testament was the next one. And fun fact, that was not the original title. It's changed. The first title was Practical Faith for Meat Eaters. But I soon started hearing, that's too confusing. It sounds like it's a book that vegetarians couldn't read. I thought, oh yeah, that's true. And then, so I prayed about the title, and that's when I got the Relevant Old Testament, because what I hope to do with this book and the books that follow, as this is going to be the first in a series of books. So the Relevant Old Testament is going to be a series, and the first one that will launch this June is through the book of Genesis. And there is one story about David and Saul in the book, but the rest of it's in Genesis. So the next book in the series will be Exodus, and so on. So I'm really excited to work on that project because I've enjoyed this one so much. And the whole idea is to help the Bible come to life for you by relating to these Sunday school characters that we've heard about our entire lives, but really don't give much thought to. And so anyway, I know that if you give it a read, you'll definitely gain new insights. And I truly believe that the Old Testament will not be dull and boring anymore. It will be vibrant and very much alive. And so I hope that you will check it out.